You keep saying this term best interests, and it's, I think, a term that we hear often in our practice, but that really has significance. It's not just a part of a sentence. It really means something legally. What's the significance of that term, best interest?
So it's a statutory guidance or statutory factors that fall into what are the best interest factors for the minor child. There's actual case law that determines. There is law that determines what are the best interest factors. There are 16 best interest factors. The court will analyze those best interest factors when making a determination as to what needs to happen with the minor child, what best serves them in custody, what best serves them in placement.
I know that everyone could look up the statutes and read the statutes. Maybe lawyers enjoy reading statutes, and most people don't enjoy statutes. So could you do us a favor, and just in layman's terms, a couple of the best interest factors?
A couple of the best interest factors would be how the parents communicate. What is the historical perspective of the parents' relationship? Was domestic violence ever put into a factor? Is there alcohol? Is there substance abuse? Is there drug abuse? Those are a few of the factors that will guide the court as to what is in that best interest of the minor child.
So the court's going to look at each of the parties and whether they can be nice to each other or whether one is being a jerk to the other. Is that way to say it?
How you are able to communicate with the other parent, or the parent is able to communicate with you, weighs heavily on the court. If, for instance, you have a restraining order against the other party, well, that diminishes the ability for the two of you to communicate.
Let's be honest. Custody and placement fights are dynamite charged. Raw emotions, complicated issues, frustration, alienation. It's important to understand how custody and placement determinations are made, what mistakes you can make along the way, how you can correct those mistakes, and ultimately how you can determine your outcome in a divorce. We get the benefit of lawyers in many ways of being omniscient and having hindsight as our benefit. We can see all of the mistakes people make after they make them. Sometimes in real time, but most often we're looking back. So what are some of the mistakes people make that maybe they're not even aware of that dramatically affect the downstream outcome on custody and placement decisions?
Letting your emotions get the best of you. When you are dealing with a situation that involves a minor child, your sense of security or your fear is going to take over. And you are going to say things you don't mean to say. You are going to text things you don't want the judge to really be seeing. You're going to be doing the things that you wish you could take back. Things such as, I give up on custody. I don't want to deal with custody anymore. Or, you know what, just take the kid. I don't want the kid anymore. Those are the things that you're going to memorialize and wish that you wouldn't. The idea is that when you start getting into these increased moments of anger and fear, that you take a pause and you understand that what is your ultimate goal and what are you hoping to achieve? And whatever's about to come out of your mouth next, or whatever you're about to text next, is that really something you mean to say, and is that going to be in furtherance of your goal?
Probably worth discussing right now. So I'm old. You're not as old as me. I used to talk to people on the telephone. Seems like more people now aren't having conversations by phone. They're having conversations by text, by messenger, by all forms of social media. What's the impact from a lawyer's standpoint on that mode of communication?
Never, ever put anything into writing that you don't want a judge to see. That is the easiest thing that the standard rule that I wish as an attorney I could scream from the rooftops. Do not put anything in a Facebook message. Do not put anything in a text message. Do not put anything in an email that you would not want the court to look at. Because eventually, if custody, if placement become heightened, you're going to be surprised how much of that comes back in. Additionally, with the way that technology has improved, now you also need to be careful about the things that you say over the telephone because everything is recorded.
Bottom line, concerning any custody and placement dispute in the state of Wisconsin, the courts must follow the statutory guidelines to determine what's going to be in the best interest of the children. At the end of the day, the courts are always going to try to figure out what's going to be the most healthy, cooperative environment for the children. It is absolutely imperative that if you are in this situation, you find an attorney who is experienced and expert in this area.